Rock and roll. Okay. Hello, friends, colleagues, countrymen, the world of sim hockey, SHL. Welcome to the award show today. It is I, one of your hosts with the most, Cherith Cute Story 78, here to bring you some really great celebrations for what we've done and what you guys have done in the league all season here. I'm joined by two of my favorite people of all time. Poster, I am his personal shadow self, and then we also got Colonel Saunders too. So guys, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, high praise from one of the best.
You got me all flustered now.
That's what I do. It's what I do. So awesome. Well, let's get this show on the road, shall we? I know it's a wonderful Saturday night across the world, and we're ready to rock. So let's kick it off. And first things first, we're going to be talking about our SMJHL Four-Star Cup champions, the indomitable Vancouver Whalers. Holy cow! What a season those guys had, right, guys? Like, just
Yeah,
insane.
who
Uh,
could have seen this one coming?
it's pretty wild to think that, they just dominated, right? I think something like their average TPE was like 120%, like points more than the lowest team for in the J season, which this is like absolute domination. Um,
When the cap is only 425 for the highest, that's 25% higher than the lowest team on average. It's insane.
Yeah, absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. And just thinking like that and some of the research that we've done too, right? They were able to, I think this is the fifth best season of all time in the J, just showing that sheer domination. I think also too, the record in goal differential as well with, plus 254 is another one. That's pretty crazy as well to think about there. And what is it? Records for most goals scored all time, Toaster and Sandy too.
That
I think they also got.
that sounds right. I think it had
Yeah,
425, just like that JTP cap.
yeah, seriously. Dang, that's all I gotta say on that. So uh yeah, big kudos to the Whalers for, you know, making it through, the Four-Star Cup and, absolutely dominating a very, very long and tough season there. Awesome. So next we're gonna talk about the Lena Landvik Trophy, which is, our North Playoff champions is once again, the Vancouver Whalers. And what a trip that they went through to go through, to win the Four-Star Cup, right? Starting off the playoffs with a nice 4-1 series win against GFG, and then coming into that second round and beating my Zerker arch nemesis Yukon for 4-1 as well, and then really having that great nail biter of a series between Quebec as well, and pulling that off in 7 games to finally meet San Diego in that final there, where they rightfully were, uh, you know pretty pretty nice, where they didn't even really face a lot of pushback until that Quebec series. And as we know, Quebec is always just a phenomenal team that just somehow is always just like top of the league. And being
Yeah,
able to pull that off is pretty awesome.
yeah, Quebec was on a roll there and met Vancouver there in round three. Vancouver dispatched them. I'm not going to
Yeah,
say handily, going to 7 games, but
yeah. For sure, for sure. All right. And let's talk to our South compadres here, the San Diego title. Another fantastic season for those guys too. And, you know, just thinking about what they did in the finals, right? They just steamrolled everyone, right? And just, working on um, you know, just handily beating each team, 4-0 every round until getting to that playoff spot, and is pretty intense. And just standing atop, right there in the Southern Conference, just marching their way to fate is pretty awesome, and not really having much to battle with in the regular season, outside of Nevada really this time. But we're able to do some pretty cool um things to get themselves to the final against Vancouver, where they had a pretty good series. But unfortunately, we're only able to take 2 games off of Vancouver for them to win in 6 from there.
Yes, they're really impressive, earning that gauntlet in a nice 13 games,
Yeah,
back-to-back sweeps
effective.
over St. Louis and the Timber, and then only taking that gentleman's sweep there against Ottawa. Really impressive reaching the finals.
Yeah,
I'm being told San
very
Diego is
effective.
the only other team to reach 100 points, aka 50 wins, besides Vancouver.
The- Makes sense. I get it. That's
Well, two
awesome.
top teams battling it out for that 4-star. Well deserved.
Yeah, yeah. Some Sandy, you want to take the next one, my friend?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. We'll be heading to the best regular season trophy, which will go to the Vancouver Whalers. Like I just mentioned, San Diego was the only other team to get to 100 points, but Vancouver finished up with 112 points and had single-digit regular regulation losses. Sorry, with a record of 55, 9, and 2. I mean, just an absurd season. When you're rooting for a team to get their 10th loss, you know you're probably in trouble. And the outcome at the very end could almost be expected just from the jump. You knew around halfway through the season that Vancouver was going to be a difficult team to beat, especially at home here. They've only won one. They've only lost one regulation game at home and 8 regulation games away. So I
That's
don't
wild.
I don't know what more can be said about this season 86 Vancouver Whalers team besides just sheer domination.
And as I think like back to the last couple of seasons in the J2, like you could always see that the teams that always performed really well at home would always go far in the playoffs, and you know coming in and doing really well in the 4-star cup. But like this level of dominance is something that I don't think we've seen in a long time. It's pretty cool to see that home ice advantage really kind of sway things. Awesome. Cool. Let's rock and roll to some of the fun stuff here. Um, next we have the Jared Hansen Trophy, our regular season points leader. Congrats, huge congrats to Annie Timon and Toivo Koskinen Jr. Ramen and Toivo are been around for a while, and really cool to see them both kind of share this crown. Um, as the GM in Newfoundland with Toivo, just watching him explode this year was pretty awesome. And Ramen knows how to make a player, right, and knows how to do very well in player development. So really great to see them both hit that 113 point mark there. And one of the craziest things too to think about is that for a long time during the season, right, Annie time was kind of running away with this, and um, you know Toivo like caught up right in the last game of the season, and getting that tie with 2 points in our last game. So that's pretty cool to see that kind of come down to the wire and celebrate. Two really awesome players.
They both really great seasons there. Toiva with a 46-67 for 113 stat line. I got any time there with a 66-47 for 113. It's a really close nail biter race there.
Yeah,
Almost exact flip flop between Anytime and Toivo on goals and assists there.
Very close. One different.
awesome. Next, we have the Roberto Martucci trophy here with Anytime. Like as I said, and as we mentioned, right? Right, just crushing it in that goal space. 66 goals. Toivo and Sandy. I don't know where that ranks for like all time in the J, but it was another pretty dominant display right there. Um, that is, really crazy to see that, you know, this is the first time a player has gone a goal per game in the season, which is
Yeah, so they're
huge.
taking the record there with 66 goals, highest all time.
Yeah, yeah, that's absolutely insane to think about. And knowing too that, that Ramen has and Annie has, 2 seasons left in the J. Like God help us, you know.
Putting up this kind of performance as a sophomore, who knows what they'll do junior and
Yeah,
senior.
seriously.
But looking at the SHL, we're like, oh, 66 goals, that's nothing. But for
Yeah,
us down here in the J, first time we've had a goal per game player. It's really impressive.
I love it. It's a wonderful time to be alive. So, Sandy, you want the next one?
Absolutely, let's have it. This is going to be the Ronan O'Keefe Trophy for the playoff point leader, and that is Norm McDangles with 38 points. And I have the dispersion here. That 38 points was 7 goals and 31 assists. So a real generous teammate. Surely a big reason they came away with the cup, if not the biggest reason. You love to see an unselfish player.
I feel like it's more rare you see those high assist players topping out for the points lead, but clearly here, with only 7 goals, 31 assists, ran away with the points in the playoffs. 23 games played, 38 points. Impressive.
Yeah, and nice to just, cap off a J career like that too. Um, and seeing that continued progression from 85 with when they had 44 assists to now 64, in the regular season there. It's just, pretty awesome, right? And just showing a lot of growth as a player. And I think they're going to be really excited in the SHL for McDaniels to come up and do some damage um, for the Panthers there.
Yeah,
That
just a real special
story,
player.
that J storybook ending.
Yeah, cool.
Next up, we got the Matt Lewis Flood Trophy for best regular season save percentage. This one goes to Buggy D Backup and Campanella Giovanni of the Nevada Battleborn with a 89.19% save rate.
I think they were a big part of why that Nevada team was so good in in the South. right? Really keeping them in games, and that tandem just made it happen.
Yeah, just from a little bit of a personal experience, just a real big part of the team's success this season. It was pretty much automatic. You didn't really have to uh, decide one way or the other which goalie was going in. You could rotate them almost evenly 50-50 and knew you were going to have a reliable person in net. Um, Fun fact, Buggy D backup is the only, I think technically got some more games this season than Campanella and Giovanni, just by a few, and is the only starter to be above a 900 save percentage.
That's awesome.
Very impressive.
All right. So our next awards here, our all defense team. These are the players that really, absolutely crush the defensive end of the game in the J. Um, and one of the things that stands out with some of the people here outside of my silly player Gary Winters, um, is really Juho Koivunen and Hanseli Hugentobler. These are two um two great rookies that have kind of dominated their forward lines from here, right? Juho doing that in Detroit so well, absolute unit coming in from Vancouver and crushing it. Said Hansley's from the Zerks with myself and Gary Winters there, and then one of my my favorites is I'm always going to ruin this name. So, resident from Highlanders, uh, being the defensive partner here and really crushing it as well. And bringing up that rear buggy deep backup. Um, you know, I think all these players in their own right, really did a fantastic job. Uh, you know, being that defensive end for their teams, and playing that great kind of shutdown hockey there.
Yeah, it's nice in a in a league so focused on offense. It seems a lot of the times it's really nice to be able to congratulate the players who allow those offensive stars to shine and keep pucks out of their own nets and play the selfless game. So happy to recognize all these great defensive players here.
For sure. All right, now we get to the juicy stuff. You know, we'll start off with the Elias Armia trophy for Commissioner's Award, uh, in excellence, and the commissioners of the league take a look at the users, and see hey, who's really kind of stepping up and being a really positive impact to the league here. Myself, I'm pretty honored to have been nominated, but also being with Vumian and Zerg as well. um you know People that have stepped up and have done really impactful things. And it's kind of like doing doing a lot of jobs that not a lot of people want to sign up for, because it's not glamorous, it's not fun, but it's great to see the recognition of a couple of these really fantastic users here. So Toaster, who ended up who's our winner of the Elias Armia trophy?
Elias Armia, we've got Zerg and a little bit here from Reno and Schwartz. For once, I get to type Zerg's name for an award and not worry about messing up the spelling. Zerg has been an absolute powerhouse as an intern this season, wanting to take a peek behind the curtain of the SMJHL and working to approve the players as quickly as possible. On top of that, Zerg stepped up for the deep dives department, quickly getting the ball rolling with new hires to help grade, and some ideas that will keep everyone more interested in deep dives from season to season and not just during their rookie season. So congratulations to you, Zerg, there for winning the commissioner award.
Yeah, and just personally, it's awesome to see Zerg, win this and coming in and you know, really really taking a great leadership and deep dives as I was there myself, and you know, super easy, super smart, person to get up to speed really fast and start to make it their own as well. And so I really appreciated Zerg this season too. So congrats. Awesome. Sandy, what's next, my friend?
Yeah, it looks like we have the Nor Harak for the top GMs. And kicking us off, we've got Johnny and Shia of the Vancouver Whalers. No surprise there. The Cup winners deservedly should always get the nod for a top GM duo. Next, I'm very honored to have been nominated along with my Grilled Twinkies over in Nevada. And last but certainly not least, we've got Yosh and Troy. Now, a couple things about each of these pairs. Um, Shawnee and Shia. Been amazing to see the work that they've put in over the past couple seasons to bring success. Trades and drafting has allowed them to build a powerhouse of a team of fully active players. Shawnee and Shia have done this all by following what the Jays mean and did not jeopardize their LR in doing so. They're a great example of putting love into your LR and team and how it can show on the ice. But wait, did did you guys know that Shawnee was a GM?
The GM?
This
Wait,
slide is me
Shawnee
finding
did
out.
GI? Oh, wow. I Wow, cool.
And
Well,
now I definitely didn't write this about Nevada, but Saunders and Twinkies are another set of GMs who truly understand the development piece of the SMJHL and do it well. If you ever scouted a player in the league and asked them who they talk to, NBB would be one of the first teams mentioned. They've become a desirable place to play for, and it is so clear that they have built an LR and roster with some amazing drafting and trades to help set them up.
I mean,
No,
also
you
too,
don't.
on a personal note too, right, Sandy? Like we co-GM'd Ratvia like when I first joined the league, and man, you just have a way with you know roster construction and tactics, and just being a great human. So I think taking some of that stuff that you learned when when we weren't a very good Ratvia team and putting that into Nevada has just been really cool to watch you guys be successful.
And from I can vouch for that scouting part. You don't even have to ask some of them who they've talked to. They love talking to Nevada so much that they will just tell you that they enjoyed it. And it's really great to see have a team having that big of an impact on first gens before they're even drafted.
Oh, y'all are killing me. All right, thank you, thank you. I can't sit here and take all the praise and not shout out Twinkies. He has such a way with asset management, and it really does make my job so much easier. He's always doing the dirty work that lets us be nominated for this award today. But I don't want to take up too much time with the Nevada talk. We've also got Yosh and Troy to talk about,
Yeah.
and they've turned a lower tier Thunder Bay team around from being bottom of the table last season to top this season. They've consistently replaced IAs and are very vocal about the J. They have a true passion and are such a great example of how, if you replace IAs and truly work on roster construction, it will help your on ice performance. And it's exciting to see how they've grown and how they will continue to grow in the future. And I can definitely vouch for that as well. You always see Yosh and Troy in GM chat, um, looking to turn over IAs into active users, and that's commendable, and that's what the J's all about at the end of the day.
It's been really cool watching them slowly climb the standings over the past couple seasons as they've really turned the team around and focused on roster construction, getting rid of the IAs, building that powerhouse that they're becoming.
Agreed. But with all that, six great nominees, we do have to name one winner, two winners, and those winners are Shawnee and Shia of Vancouver. No surprise here. Huge congratulations to them. I mean, it, there's been green and blue all over this slideshow, deservedly so. They just have put together a ridiculous season that I don't know how much more I can say about without repeating myself. It's just incredible. So congratulations to them.
And the next thing we have here to hand out is the Zach Miller Award for most dedicated users. Three great names here on the list. You've got a wonderful awards host here doing many other things in Charith Story. There's no surprise that his name is here, as well as the Commissioner's Award. He has continued to be a powerhouse in the league from WJC Co-Commish, Deep Dives Grader, SMJHL GM, SHLHO, PT Head. The list just goes on and on. He's everywhere. Always ready to jump into work and support wherever is needed. Next you have Raman Amen. Another name I don't think anyone surprised to see here, but always loves to see it. Raman has been a key component of the SMJHL for many, many seasons, notably as the head GM of QCC. Well, this past season they were not the GM. Raman continues to be an important figure within the league, from their coaching and teaching others, even making an appearance on the Jada Night, coming on there just talking about tactics, trying to get everyone up to pace. Well, not up to pace, but help everyone understand more of the tactics side. Ramen is still a strong figure within QCC and their coaching, but they've also taken on WJC, where they've stepped up to help newer users and support them in GMing there and helping them navigate that. And last but not least, Adam E. Plays. While Adam is more of a quiet name around the league, he continues to work in both SMJHL HO and WJC HO, the two important parts of the J, welcoming in those new users. This past season was his first on the SMJHL HO, where he contributed to better the league. On the WJC side, Adam has helped create a smooth season for those GMs by helping run drafts and ready to jump in whenever questions came up. Adam also created a new sheet within WJC to allow easier documentations for all GMs, teams and players that can be used for many seasons. On top of his league jobs, Adam is also a member of the podcast Half-Assed on Ice, which if you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's great. And three great names there. Only one can win, and your Zach Miller winner for most dedicated user is Ramen Amen.
Huge congrats. Awesome. All right. Our next award is the Jet Cross Most Underrated here. And we have a bunch of great nominees, as you can see. We have Kellen Chamberlain from GFG, Dominic Yankov from Maine, Alex Bull from Thunder Bay, Robert Kralj from Vancouver, and Rat King from Carolina. And want to talk a little bit about each of these players here. Um, you know, think about Chevy. Kellen Chamberlain. You know, tough bottom of the table team in a rebuild that there isn't much to brag about, but and especially in like a sim engine that destroys goalies and beats them, it seems. But was an incredible goalie who had the third most saves in the league. And that's where that's really at, right? It's Chevy's just been um it's been pretty cool to see that, right? Chevy's been one of the most active voices in the locker room, is kind to everybody, and has been extremely helpful and welcoming to the GMs and at GFG, during the process of joining the team. He stands up for what is right and is always around to talk about, kids, hockey or cookies, and really a true joy to have in that locker room there. So super cool, great underrated player in person. Next we have, Chip Hacks, Dominic Yankov, points leader for the Timbers in both the regular seasons and the playoffs. Despite being relegated to that second line and playing with some young line mates, Yankov's contributions really gave the Timber the ability to have a home ice advantage in that first round. And then in the playoffs helped give the Timber their most productive line playing alongside, DGC and Schnever as well. Yeah. Chip Hawks has, been a really consistent positive voice in the locker room for Maine. And, it's a locker room that's been in desperate need of active veteran voices to, help the team bounce back from some of the low points it's hit, towards the end of, S84 and going into S85. And, Chip Hawks has been really, really that key piece in that team's turnaround from there. Next, with Thunder Bay, we have Seltrace, Alex Balol. Probably not the best player on the ice, and but played a lot of tough minutes and never disappointed. Uh, they did exactly what their player needed to do to play above their TPE ranking night in and night out. Yeah, I think all of you know Thunder Bay is um, really great, and just but Cell Trace has been super underrated. They're in the locker room, they're always around to talk. They're so supportive of other players, and they even make graphics, which is such a great and critical piece to our league. uh and I think with their GMs, really pushing that Celtrace gets these props because they've been so much farther above average than I think anyone could think of. Next, we have Robert Kralish, Daleks for Vancouver. Despite being in the third line of a very stacked team, Kralish still put up the fourth best plus minus on the entire Vancouver team, as we've been talking about most of the night here. And while he was last in points with 52, yeah, he was second best in goals against 60 with a mere 2.2 in an era where more goals are scored than ever. Really a like the prime definition of a luxury on a legacy team. Kralish has really been an angular piece to stabilize the weaker matchups. Supporting that third forward line and dominating on the back end. You know, and from the locker room perspective, Daleks is just a great human there, right? Not the loudest, but probably the most consistent, and one of the very rare non-North American centric people um that's been ruining his sleep schedule day after day for a glimpse at the sim, and maybe a little bit of SSL too, but that's irrelevant here as we know. And really loves to answer player pings, always responding to the frog gif, and never once giving up on the Whalers. He's really been a centerpiece for the new generation, and the front office already fears when he gets called up to the SHL, just with that energy that he has in the locker room. And then lastly, we have Rat King, our good friend Adam E plays, whose name we've already called tonight. And uh really, Kari and team, don't think he gets the recognition he deserves. And even if you think about how Carolina had probably one of their worst seasons in a while, Rat King continued to push through the lack of TPE, the struggles in coaching, and not super strong teammates to pull through with 86 points while spending the majority of the season on that second line. Yeah, Adam is really a true support for Carolina this season, and a massive contributor to any success that they've gotten. Right. Um, I mean, just think about Rat King. Right. Only 27 of those points were goals of those 86. Right. And he had 59 assists, which is pretty crazy. Like that is the definition of a team player. And then you talk about Adam in the locker room, and he's a true hype man, right? In almost every single stream voice call, he's the keeper of the box scores and just a massive part of the war room. He continues to grow within the league from both the JHL and WJCHL. And Adam is someone we can trust, and is always willing to help out if, anyone needs a sheet made. As we know how Kari is and saying nice things, really wanted to make sure that the world knew that Adam is really a key piece to Carolina, both on and off the ice from there. So those are your nominees for Jack Cross, which is one of my favorite awards in the J here. And let's figure out who the winner is. And our winner is Adam with Rat King. So congrats on the huge award.
Big
Oh,
congratulations to Adam. Sorry, cut you off, Toaster. I do have a personal note. Was teammates with him briefly over in the ISFL, and underrated is truly how I would describe Adam E plays. Is just an absolute crazy user that nobody seems to give enough credit to. Everything Kari said is true, especially in the LR aspect. As soon as he was drafted, we were teammates in London in the DSFL, and as soon as he was drafted, he was 100% buy-in, and it was just so fun to have in the LR. And I'm sad that we are no longer sharing one. Call me Adam.
it's really nice seeing the underrated also be more of a support player on the team in terms of on ice rather than the like point leader, goal scorer, and superstar or whatever. But 59 huge assists from a second line, it's just impressive.
All right.
Those are,
Next
yeah,
up. Yeah, go
go
ahead,
for it,
Toaster.
Sandy. Oh yeah.
All right, we got the next up. We have the Alex Light for most improved. You've got Buggy D back up from Nevada Battleborn. Mentioned his name quite a few times. We're not done. Jumping about 5% save percentage there. Cut his goals against allowed basically in half, maybe a little more, and tacked on 5 shutouts there. Next is Logan Wright from the Newfoundland Berserkers, going from 23 goals, 35 assists, 50 points to 53 goals, 57 assists for a more than doubled 110 points. Toivo Koskinen Jr., also from the Berserkers, having a great season. Went from 14, 36, and 50 to an impressive 48, 87. Nope, that's a 67, my bad. For 113. Also leading the league there with points, tied with Any Time. And then you've got David Volek from the Vancouver Whalers going from 20, 33 for 54 with a minus 10 plus minus to a 60, 51 for a just shy of that points lead of 111 with a plus minus of 110. Having your plus minus be almost the same as your points scored, that's
That's wild.
insane. And the winner for your Alex Light most improved is David Volek of the Vancouver Whalers.
Yeah, and a big congratulations here to Volek and all the other nominees as well. There were some particularly impressive stat lines there for the two Newfoundland players, but I think you have to consider the postseason impact that David Volek had, uh, and the regular season one. To be honest, he led the Whalers in the regular season, and while Norm McDangles took the glory in the postseason, Volek was just as instrumental. Put up 24 points in 23 games, and was shooting at 17.9%, which is some of the highest on the Whalers. When you get big games and you win big trophies, you get big awards, and that is exactly why David Volek is here as the Alex Light winner. Congratulations.
And even in the playoffs too, from versus last season, right? His goals for again for 60, they jumped 1.2 from last season as well. Just absolutely dominant.
That huge increase from a rookie to a sophomore. It's almost similar to some other players we've talked about. It'll be great to see what they do the next 2 seasons before they move up.
Mhm. For sure.
Speaking of rookies, I think it's time to name our all rookie team. Yep, it sure is. So our forwards here are Ryder Halak II from Newfoundland, uh, Atu Gotu from San Diego. We have Patrick Moore from Detroit, Matthias Mouse from Nevada, Morbin Norman from Carolina, and the goalie is Young P. Ush. A fun fact, another internal Nevada fun fact, not to get too into Nevada business. Matthias Mouse we did not draft him as a defender. He was a forward that we were forced to put at defense and absolutely exceeded expectations. So, um, congratulations to him on that personal note. But this is just a phenomenal group of 6 rookies here who had massive impacts on all their teams.
You've got the 2 rookie point leaders there with Ryder and Atu, both with 71 points. It's really impressive for rookies.
And I believe Young Push was. Oh, sorry. I believe they were one of the best goalies, period, let alone rookies in the J this season. So congratulations to them.
And one of the interesting things too, before we leave this, is it's nice to see Atu Ratu. It looks like a complete first gen here, being on the all rookie team and just absolutely crushing it. So kudos to them. Okay, our next award is the Brandon Holmes award for the top defensive forward. We have a lot of really um, great nominees for this today. And as my screen catches up to me, we have, Frank Drebin, from Colorado, crushing it with 65 blocks and 193 hits and, a 0.83, takeaway to giveaway ratio. We have Sylvain Meyer from Great Falls, doing another fantastic job with 72 blocks and 125 hits with a 1.34 TA versus GA ratio from there. We also have Hi, my name is Cliff Drop Over Sometime Eastwood Cuddles, which that name always just makes me giggle quite a bit.
All-time
From
name.
there with it is an all-time name right there. Uh, with 80 blocks and 146 hits and zero point 0.6 TA versus GA average. And then lastly, who I don't know why they're not on the slide, but our nominee of Pinto Tavares, who really from Vancouver, who was able to, bring through 37 blocks, 188 hits, um, and roughly like a little bit over a one, TA versus GA, ratio from there.
It's a 56 to 53, so about a
Yeah,
1.05, 1.06, somewhere in there, takeaway giveaway ratio.
yeah. Better at doing math in the head than I am. So it's all good.
That was
So a lot of a lot of really great, um, nominees here today. Especially, as we see, this is a really important aspect of the game in the J that's often pretty underrated. So let's see who our winner is. It is Frank Drebin from the Colorado Raptors. Congratulations. Huge, huge. I know Colorado's in a tough spot this season, but nice to see Frank Drebin being a kind of a shining light there, and helping ease the pain a little bit. Sandy, you want the next one?
Absolutely, let's do it. And that next one is going to be the Quila Agante Award for the top defender. Our nominees are Gary Winters from the Berserkers with a 1.92 takeaway to giveaway ratio, 187 blocks, 156 hits, and 45 points on top of that. Next, we have Pride Tape from Quebec City with a 2.53 takeaway to giveaway ratio, 146 hits, 124 blocks, and 71 points to boot. Last but not least, another Vancouver personnel on here. We have Quentin Hennessy with a 2.00 takeaway to giveaway ratio, 170 hits, 140 blocks, and 66 points. Great defensive performances and offensive performances, honestly, from three great players on three great teams. We can only have one winner, however, and that winner is Pride Tape from Quebec City. Just a great, I mean, when you can put up defensive stats like that and still add 71 points, you've got a pretty phenomenal two-way player on your hands. So, congratulations to Pride Tape on being this season's top defender.
Yeah, when you're doing 2.5 takeaways per giveaway and still putting up almost high-end forward points as a defender, phenomenal season. That'll bring us to our second All-Star team. A lot of familiar names on here we've called. We've got forward Logan Wright and Dylan Evans from the Berserkers. Forward Norman McDangles from Vancouver Whalers. Quentin Hennessy, also from the Vancouver Whalers, as the first defense spot. And Gary Winters as your second defender, also from the Berserkers. And a goalie we've mentioned quite a bit here from the Thunder Bay Walleye in Young P. Ush.
It's a very solid second All-Star team, if I may say so myself.
I do not envy the All-Star committee this season having to decide on who was the first and the second. I feel like most of these are pretty interchangeable for those two. Just great seasons all around.
Love it. Awesome. So our next award is the Alexis Metzler for top defensive defender. We have three um, fantastic nominees as well. Gary Winters, very honored still to be nominated for this. Had 187 blocks this season, 156 hits. You've heard a lot of my story already from there. Uh, then we get um, I I love this player. This is one of the hardest names that I think I've ever found. The 58 letter Welsh village itself. Um, which I don't know. Toasty Sandy, do you think I should try to pronounce it? Um,
I think Toaster's been practicing, actually, Sheriff.
oh, you,
Is that right, Toaster?
okay.
Practicing. All right, let's see if we can give this a go here. Clenveer Porth Gwyngaeth Go Gruthro Windroprof Kalantra Silio Gogo resident.
All right.
Hey,
There's even a tongue roll in there. Well done.
That is
Wow, that is a
amazing.
mouthful.
Well, that
That is a
sure
mouthful.
is. Man, yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, being able to pronounce that, huge kudos. But also, let's talk about the performance too, right? A 2.39, takeaway giveaway ratio, a 3.63 DPS score, 207 hits. Wow, huge, huge, huge.
If you, if you thought their name was hard to pronounce, it's even harder to play against them, apparently.
Exactly. And then last but not least, from the our champions Vancouver, Quentin Hennessy, with that two, takeaway ratio there, a DPS of 2.98, 170 hits and 140 blocks. Really, really crushing it. Some really fantastic defenders in this, and excited to see who wins. So let's take a look at our winner.
And your winner for the Alexis Metzler winner, or I already said that. Alexis Metzler, top defensive defender. Clinveer Porth Gwyngath Gogruth Windroth Kalantra Cilio Gogol, resident.
Amazing. Absolutely wonderful. I love it.
A name that ages like fine wine.
Oh yes. Stays with the tongue. Awesome. Next, we have the Cedric Robinson Award. Sandy, do you want to talk about the nominees?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to. Our Cedric Robinson nominees are Dalinar Colin from the Maine Timber with a .884 save percentage, 20.84 goals saved above average, and a 3.97 goals against average. Next up, we've got Buggy D Backup from Nevada with a .904 save percentage, 29.42 goals saved above average, and a 2.57 goals against average. Last but not least, we've got Cup winning Nicholas Lundberg from Vancouver with a .888 save percentage, 25.62 goals saved above average, and 2.7 goals against average. And our winner is Buggy D Backup. So proud to announce this award personally. Buggy was just such a staple in the team this season. Has been up and down this awards slideshow here so far, and for very good reason. Is just, despite being a backup by name, has been a ridiculous player this past season and deserves all the praise in the world. So I'm super proud of them, and they should be proud of themselves as well.
All right, Toasty, what's next?
Next, we've got the Isa and Rikkonen for top rookie. From the Berserkers, you have Matthias Maus, 14 goals, 44 assists, 58 points, and a takeaway giveaway of 2 evenly. Ryder Halak II. The first one was from the Battleborn. My apologies there. Ryder Halak II from the Berserkers with 21 goals, 50 assists, 71 points, with a plus minus of positive 41. And Atu Gatu of the San Diego title, 40 goals, 31 assists, 71 points, with a plus minus of positive 33. Great seasons all around here. You've got a standout defenseman there and the 2 rookie top point scorers. However, there can only be one top rookie, unfortunately, with 3 great seasons there. Your Isa and Ricken winner for top rookie is Atu Gatu of the San Diego title.
Yeah, there just has not been enough love for the title here in this awards presentation, in my possibly hot take and opinion. They were also a phenomenal team this season, and it's nice to see a rookie from the South get some love.
Okay. And now, prime time, guys. We have our first all-star team guy here. And as you've seen already, a lot of these names could be very just interchanged amongst the teams because everyone's been so good. But let's kind of walk through, where the all-star, committee ended up here with our first all-star team. So at forward for QCC, we have Annie Time just absolutely crushing it. Next, we have from the Vancouver Whalers, David Volek, who we've already seen call their name out many times today already. From Newfoundland, my good pal Toivo Kosonen Jr. at forward as well, making things happen, making moves. Uh, on defense from the San Diego title, another phenomenal player who's been really cool to watch play over the last couple of seasons is Senna Palo. Huge there. And then their defensive partner for the All Star team is Pride Tape from QCC. Another great player here. And then last but not least, coming up the rear at goalie is Buggy D Backup from Nevada. So congratulations to our first team All Stars from from here. It was absolutely crushing.
Yep. Just a great group of six who most, if not all, have been nominated for previous awards tonight. So, I mean, this is just in a great season. This is the cream of the crop here. Just a tremendous amount of talent here in the J in season 86, and you have to be excited about where the league is headed from here.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Okay. Toasty, you want to take this one?
Sure, we've got the Aideen Fala for MVP, the most valuable player of the S86 SMJHL season. First up, you've got Logan Wright of the Berserkers with 53 goals, 57 assists for 110 points with a plus 52. Toivo Koskinen Jr. of the Berserkers as well, 46 goals, 67 assists, league leading 113 points with 56 plus minus. Anytime from QCC, 66 goals, 47 assists, 113 points, top in the league there with Toivo, plus 39. And David Volek from Vancouver, 60 goals, 51 assists, 111 points, 104 plus minus. We've heard a lot about all these players here already. Not surprised to see him here for the MVP votes. But unfortunately, there can only be one MVP, and that goes to David Volek of the Vancouver Whalers, shining in his preseason, the regular season, and the playoffs. Your MVP, David Volek from the Vancouver Whalers.
Yeah, I mean, when you're the best player on the best team, that's what you get, and there's really not much more to say. It's been Vancouver up and down the awards ceremony, deservedly so, but that's just another one of the books for David Volek, and will surely contribute to his legacy even before he gets up to the big leagues.
Okay. Next, we have our Brody Witzel, playoff MVP. And as you can see, this is dominated by our Vancouver friends here. We have Nicholas Lundberg, our fearless goalie, who had 515 saves, had 3.1 GAA, and an 88% save percentage, and two shutouts from here. Another name that we haven't really called much today is James Ramburn, who was played 23 games and or 23 goals and had 13 assists for 36 points and had a plus 21 plus minus there, which is pretty awesome. And then of course Norm McDaniels as well, being able to, chip in on 7 goals and 31 assists and just being an absolute powerhouse. Another fun fact about James Ranburn, as I'm just kind of thinking about this, started off his rookie year playing left defense for Vancouver, and then making the switch to center, in season 84. So pretty cool to see him on both sides of the ice there, and actually did pretty well that rookie season as a defenseman. But I think their heart was definitely more on the offensive side. So with that being said, as we know, and to quote Highlander, as we have all night, there can be only one. Our winner. Congratulations, Nicholas Lundberg. You know, I don't think we could say much more about the performance that he had all season and then also in the playoffs, and really being that driver for the cup win from there. Sandy, I'll let you take the the last one here for the gym.
All right, I'll
Take us
close this
home.
out here. Last but not least, certainly, we've got the Raymond Lindsay for the Players MVP, the JMVP that the players themselves have voted on. We've got Toivo Kosonen Jr. from the Newfoundland Berserkers, 46 goals, 67 assists for a combined 113 points and a 56 plus minus. Anytime from the Quebec City Citadels, 66 goals, 47 assists, 113 points, and a 39 plus minus. And David Volek once again from Vancouver with 60 goals, 51 assists, 11 points. Is that correct? 111 points and 104 plus minus. Phenomenal seasons from all three players. But I guess it's my turn to say it. There can only be one. And our winner for the Players MVP is Annie Time. Congratulations. Like we mentioned quite earlier in the presentation, just it's hard to stop ramen. It's just somebody who knows the sim engine in and out and who knows how to run it both as a manager and as a player, and has just created another great player who will wreak havoc on the J and in the SHL for several seasons to come.
Awesome.
And
And that
with
can,
the Raymond
yeah,
Lindsay, that's our show, folks.
For the J side, at least. We'll be back
yeah,
shortly
we'll be
with
back.
the
Yes, we should.
anticipated SHL awards, but that does conclude this S86 SMJHL awards.
And remember, if you have any complaints, send them to Sandy and Toaster.
We will field them all and maybe do something with them.
Alright. Hello, 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 people of Earth and the universe. Welcome back to the S86 SHL Awards Show. We just wrapped up, talking about the J, but you have, your fearless hosts today. Myself, Chair's Cute Story. We also have Colonel Saunders and Toaster here to talk about, all the wonderful things that our leagues have done, over the last season, and shine some recognition on some players and teams that deserve it. So, Toaster, Sandy, how you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Got my water refilled here. I'm ready to go.
Nice. Sandy, what about you?
I'm also doing well. I have something that contains water.
I like it. Same. Perfect. So let's dive right in, shall we? And let's talk about our Challenge Cup champions, Edmonton Blizzard. Yeah, they are now just one Challenge Cup shy of Hamilton's SHL leading five in the current SHL era. Since I've joined the league, which has not been that long, yes, what S83, S84, Edmonton has been the name, and has been one of those crazy contenders. So, huge congratulations to that team for continuing the dominance over the years, and let's see if they can beat Hamilton's you know Challenge Cup record. I think it's possible. So
They've got a great roster there, great coaches, great GMs. It's definitely possible. We'll just have to see if
yeah,
they can make it happen.
it is an institution in the making, and it's just game changing. I love it. I love it. Awesome. Our next slide is the Chouinard Trophy.
We've got the Philadelphia Forge here taking home the Matthias Schoonard Trophy for the Eastern Conference champions. An incredible season for the Forge. Finished third in the East before dispatching Atlanta, New England, and then Hamilton on their way to another Challenge Cup appearance.
Absolutely. Since we've been in the league, Toaster, it seems like the big names have always been Edmonton out in the West and Atlanta in the East. So it's nice to see a new champion emerge and give Edmonton a run for their money.
Yep, been watching their slow and steady rise for a few seasons now. It's great to see him finally standing out.
All right, next we have the Cole Reinhardt Trophy for those Western Conference champions. They are the aforementioned Edmonton Blizzard. We have a sweep of Texas, a gentleman's sweep of the Denver Glacier Guardians before another conference championship classic against Seattle on their way to another Challenge Cup final. What more can be said about Edmonton? They are surely one of the SHL's premier dynasties, stopped from three-peating in season 84 and season 83 by Atlanta. But I still think they got a strong chance again next season. We'll see if they can get that elusive three-peat.
Yeah, and continue building on that and what they've done, and as the West champions. And let's think about where they ended up with the President's Trophy as well. Um, we can kind of take a look at that overall dominance that they've had, and we can go to the next slide too, here, and talk about them a little bit more. Right, it's 114 regular season points there. I think fewer than 10 losses all years, and a plus 230 goal differential. Like, wow, you know, this is something special, and I think that lightning in the bottle is going to be pretty formidable, kind of moving into this season as well. So I know we've
Yeah,
talked about, yeah, the great best record in the regular season. Toaster, who dominated, from the player side.
For the Kaprizov, most points, surprisingly, some might say, not from the Blizzard. You've got Kim Chaewon here. We won't spoil the fun here because my guess is we're going to be spending a lot of time this evening talking about Kim and their outstanding season they had in season 86. However, a few highlights here: 128 points, 74 goals with 54 assists. Just an absolute buzzsaw for that Hamilton offense as they powered their way to the top of that Eastern Conference in the regular season.
All right, next we have the Jay McDonald for the most goals in the regular season, and that's going to go to Jeremy Snugglemuffin, the third of the Madison Valkyries, with 75 goals scored. And this is just a real impressive campaign by Snugglemuffin. This is a player who absolutely just found 2 or 3 extra gears this season. They have a previous high of 41 points from their rookie season. And I see now on the index that's because they had their chance to play center in this season as opposed to being a blue liner in the past 4 seasons before that. So I think they have safely secured their spot in Madison's top line as a 1C with a ridiculous 75 goals and 51 assists to boot for a whopping 126 point campaign.
Awesome. Now one of my favorite trophies in the SHL, the Turd Ferguson Trophy for most penalty minutes. Uh, as we know, the penalty minutes in the league are fun, and there can be some pretty wild penalties that pop up in the index from the games. But congratulations to Austin Matthews for just eking out Vanderberg Jr. with one more penalty minute this season for a total of 71 here. Taking home that that Ferguson for this season, and really that key difference maker of what made that happen was an illegal check to the head for a 5-minute major, and Calgary's loss 3-1 against LA in the second week of the season right there. So tough bidding, but like I said, awesome things happen in this sim league, and it's great to see us see Austin Matthews from Calgary, take a wonderful word.
It came down to the wire there with the penalty minutes. It's
Yeah,
almost like they knew what they were aiming for back in week 2 with that illegal check to the head.
exactly.
And we'll go from the most of something to the least of something with the Mike Honcho Trophy for least goals allowed during the regular season. And that goes to the EDM goalies here of Abby Reitbach and Wolfgang Puck. Back-to-back winners of this award for the second season here. Reitbach and Puck find themselves atop the SHL goaltending summit with a league best or league lowest 181 goals allowed in season 86, finishing 30 goals ahead of the next best goaltending duo in Seattle. And when you're winning 114 games or 114 points, sorry, you know you're going to have good goaltending. And they proved it there with 181 goals allowed, allowing their team to have a plus 230 goal differential, sitting right around 70 more than the previous team. And you don't get those kind of stats by accident. You got to have great goaltending.
Right, that leads us to the SHL's all rookie team. We've got a lot of Madison here. We've got forward Rurik Markov of the Madison Valkyries, Lord Marshal Lorenzo Alstott from the Los Angeles Panthers, Dana Catherine Selly from the Valkyries. At defense, we have Tobias Krunk from the Valkyries and Caitlin Hughes Galloway from the Calgary Dragons. And tending the net is goalie Hattie Minch. I'd love to have something to say about all these players, but I can't bring up all their tabs, so I will say something about Spectre's goalie Hattie Minch. Had the fourth best save percentage overall in the SHL this past season with a .893. Very impressive campaign from a young Spectres goaltender.
All right, and that takes us into talking about the John McBride Award now for best goaltender here. Um, we've gotten some really great nominees, as you can see. Abby right back from Edmonton, Song Jugong from Madison, and Tyler Bodega from Minnesota. And as we think about each of these, and I'll kind of go in semi-reverse order here, is and Tyler Bodega had the highest GSAA since Just in Time won the Honcho and the McBride in season 81 and with San Francisco, and that was for Tyler Bodega was about 40.31, and when Just in Time won it in season 81, it was 48.97, and is the only goaltender to finish the uh, season 87 with the save percentage above 90. While some argue that goaltender wins is a team stat, Bodega's 36 wins number was good for third in the SHL last season. Is really a testament to just how many games that the netminder stole for the Monarchs that last season here.
Yeah, that's a
And
really young team too. That
yeah,
I think that's their sophomore season, already setting season bests to be mentioned with Just in Time as a sophomore goalie.
yeah, it's wild. It's wild. And now, kind of like on the flip side of all this, right, we got Sanju Gong, who's seen more pucks on the net than either of the two McBride nominees here. In fact, I think Jugong's approaching about 15,000 save milestone in the SHL, if I remember correctly, and you know fitting in really well with Madison's up tempo offensive first play style. Uh, it really costs the Valkyries, and being that season netminder to post, the third best GSAA from last season at 26.32 and carrying a really heavy load, starting the maximum number of games for Madison last season. And when it comes to overall volume and high level play, Zhugong is at the top of the pile, even if the save percentage or goals against metrics may not, be as quite as gaudy as, Bodega or even another nominee right back here. And, with right back, right, not to be outdone by what they did in, season 85, know, Right Bach came back with another six shutout classic season. In 54 starts, she fell just short of Bodega in the save percentage and just one puck stop shy of the SHL's, elusive, 90% mark. And she was at, I think 89.9% for the season. As a netminder, is now 14 wins shy of 200 wins milestone after another incredible season. Right. Bach had swept McBride and Hansha last season, and I think it's pretty strong to repeat, here for this season. So let's take a look at our winner here. Awesome, Tyler Bodega, just absolutely crushing it with Minnesota. Making things happen, and huge congrats there. Really, really nice way to cap off a wonderful season for Minnesota and a great goaltending effort all around.
Yep, congrats there to Bodega for the best goaltender and moving up to the blue line in our offensive first league. Can't forget the best defenders for the Scott Stevens. First up, you've got Rockford Cotswold leading all defensemen in scoring by 6 points, adding 27 goals and an eye-popping 12.4 shooting percentage on arguably the league's best defensive unit. Led all defensemen in shorthanded goals, contributing to both penalty killing and power play for a deep Seattle roster. Looking at those numbers broken down there, it's 27 goals, 47 assists, 134 blocks, 102 hits, and a takeaway of 16 to 40. Really impressive shooting percentage there at that 12.4 for a defenseman. Next up from EDM is Jennifer Huh. Got 14 goals, 53 assists, 123 blocks, 112 hits. The giveaway takeaway 16 to 79. Huh finished tied for third in scoring amongst all defensemen, playing a much larger PK role than the other two Stevens nominees, counted on in every area of the ice by Edmonton, averaging more than 25 minutes a night as a true workhorse on the back end for the Blizzard. Almost playing half the game there at 25 minutes, putting up impressive numbers. And last but not least, from the Chicago Syndicate, you have one of my favorite names, McLovin, finishing fourth against all defensemen in assists and just outside of the top 5 overall in scoring. Was a huge offensive presence for Chicago in the offensive zone, finishing fourth in shots. The best giveaway takeaway ratio among Stevens nominated defensemen this year, showing phenomenal play at both ends of the ice. Had 11 goals, 52 assists, 135 blocks, 111 hits for a impressive giveaway takeaway ratio of 7 to 75. But as we said many times during the J Awards, there can only be one winner, unfortunately. And this year, that goes to Rockford Cotswold of the Seattle Argonauts. For the Scott Stevens Best Defenseman, Cotswold showed poise and strength as the key defender on the Seattle roster, playing an offensive role, leading all defenders in both points and goals, while also suppressing the opponent's shots and goals with save per 60 or shots per 60 and goals against per 60.
And Seattle's a team that's been right on the cusp for so long. You get the feeling that they're gonna break that crest soon and win a cup. And this is a player here that's gonna be really important to that procedure. I mean, this is somebody who's gonna be entering their 8th season, so they still have some left in the tank. And if Seattle wins a cup here in the next few seasons, you have to imagine that Rockford Cotswold will be a big part of that. Moving on from veterans, we have the Ryan Jester Award for the best rookie. And here we've got fine selection here, starting with none other than Rurik Markov of the Madison Valkyries. 24 goals, 71 assists, 15 blocks, 143 hits, and a giveaway takeaway of 89 to 59. Playing alongside Snuggle Muffin in Madison, Markov broke the SHL's rookie scoring record with 95 points in season 86. One of 4 Madison rookies to break the point per game mark this season, playing a critical role on the Madison power play, averaging over 3 minutes of power play ice time per game while also killing penalties. Next, we've got Lord Marshal Lorenzo Alstott from the Panthers. 53 goals, 35 assists, 55 blocks, 66 hits, and a giveaway takeaway ratio of 99 to 39. Wow. Lord Marshall's first year in LA was an impactful one. With 88 points across 66 contests, Marshall led all rookies in goals, 53, with the next rookie coming in at 46, and shooting percentage. Arguably the best pure goal scoring rookie performance the SHL's ever seen, with a close to 24% shooting percentage, playing down the middle in LA. Last but not least, we have Patty Minch of the New Orleans Spectres. 91 goals against, a goals against average of 3.06 per game, 2 shutouts, and a save percentage of .893. Minch broke onto the scene in a big way for New Orleans in season 86. The rookie netminder appeared in 32 games for the Ghosts and notched a 19-6-1 record, posting a .983 save percentage and a 3.06 goals against average, good for 4th and 5th respectively among all goaltenders. First for both among rookie goaltenders. So tough competition here. Let's see who will come away with our Ryan Jester trophy in S86. That'll be none other than Rurik Markov. I believe that's Hiffo's player, no, Toaster?
It sure is.
So congratulations to him. Has created a hell of a player here who will be a staple on that Madison team for a long time to come.
Breaking the points record and I believe the assist record too for rookies. Really just an impressive season.
Awesome. Our next all-star team here that we have is our third all-star team. Yeah, let's take a look at what we have. Congratulations to all the players. We have Elena Vaneski from Buffalo as one of the forwards. We have Gary Boyka third from Manhattan from there, which is pretty awesome. We also from Edmonton, we have Sonia Solberg, of course, the famous Sonia Solberg, one of my favorites to pick in fantasy from there. Then from Hamilton, we have Yanni Monti on defense from there. And then we also have Jet Labyrinth, and I don't know why the logo is escaping me. So Toaster, help me out here, man. We have Jet Labyrinth as well, and then in the last single we have New England, Elmar Gilgila. That's our third all-star team.
That brings us to the Jeff Dar here for the best two-way forward. First up, you have Enlightened Centrist from Hamilton with 41 goals, 52 assists, 56 blocks. Enlightened Centrist, this likely won't be the last time we hear about him. He was a breakout star for Hamilton alongside Kim in season 86, just shy of 100 points in the campaign and an incredible giveaway takeaway ratio. Shows a well-rounded two-way player for Hamilton's top center. Next up is Emmerich Gagne of the Buffalo Stampede. Fresh off a trade, puts up 70 goals, 44 assists, 69 blocks, 83 hits, giveaway takeaway of 99 to 89. Can you score them in bunches and also contribute on your own end? It's a difficult thing to do in this league. But Gagne definitely can, with 70 goals and an incredible 30+% shooting percentage for Buffalo while leading forwards in takeaways and playing the #1 role on the Stampede penalty killing unit. When you got someone putting up that kind of offensive numbers and also pairing it with those defensive numbers, you're going to see him a lot on the penalty kill as they can be trusted. Next up is Gwendolyn Tellen of the Edmonton Blizzard. Had 58 goals, 60 assists, 79 blocks, 74 hits, with a giveaway takeaway of 93 to 71. Gwendolyn was the premier forward for Edmonton's domination and rightfully earning the Dar nomination. Tone takes what she's learned from Winters, the Solberg sisters, and over the last 4 years, and finds herself with a first-time nomination for the Dar, the points leader among this group, and part of the best goals against all-around defensive group in the entire SHL for Edmonton last season. Impressive numbers from those three. It was probably really hard for the committee to pick a winner here, but ultimately it will go to Gwendolyn Tellin of the Edmonton Blizzard. Gwendolyn's stats on both ends of the ice were beyond impressive. 118 points, solid face-off percentage, good to takeaways and shot blocks, penalty kill time, goals against per 60, and shots against per 60, as well as goals for and shots for per 60 were all solid, and a big reason of why Edmonton's success continues. They've got a star playmaker there, and it's no wonder that you see Edmonton at the top when you got players like that.
All right, next we have the Bojo Biscuit for the best defensive defenseman. We'll start with Elliot Alderson of the Hamilton Steelhawks. 138 blocks, 122 hits, a giveaway takeaway of 16-40 for a 3.2 ratio, and a shot attempt per 60 of 29.4. The Hamilton stalwart was phenomenal in his own end this season, a physical force to be reckoned with, and playing a shutdown role on what was the league's 5th best defense last season. Next, we have Hip Hurts out of the Edmonton Blizzard, 160 blocks, 105 hits, giveaway takeaway of 10-53 for a 2.8 GA per 60 and an SA per 60 of 26. Not expected to be known for his all-around defensive game early in his career, Hurts with a breakout in season 86 after many seasons of being a cog in the very talented core on Edmonton's back end. The best shot suppression and goals against metrics of this Biscuit nominee list, Hurts played a huge role in leading the best goal differential team in the SHL this season. And last but not least, we have Jaromir Jagerbaum, one of my favorite names in the league, from the Manhattan Rage. 108 blocks, 114 hits, a giveaway to takeaway of 22-103 or a GA per 60 of 3.9 and an SA per 60 of 31.2. While the defensive stats for Jagerbaum may not be quite as eye-popping as Alderson or Hurts, he was without a doubt the most impactful player for the Manhattan back end in season 86. Yager played an enormous role on the Manhattan PK and led all Manhattan defensemen in minutes by more than 200, around 3 minutes per game. The glue that held the Rage together on defense. After 3 glowing endorsements, our winner of the Bojo Biscuit is Jaromir Jagerbaum. Jagerbaum's ability to kill penalties, steal pucks, and a big physical presence proves that he is a formidable opponent and a defensive powerhouse. Congratulations to Jaromir Jagerbaum.
Okay, we move on to the Aiden Richin Most Improved Player Award here. Uh, as you can see, we have a couple names that we've already talked about a bunch tonight. And first off, we have Tyler Bodega. Yeah, as as we've seen, Bodega's been on the watch list for many people within the SHL and has been such a huge component of Minnesota's breakout this season. With an 18 game win increase and nearly an entire goal per game average, knocked off his stat line from last season. It's no wonder that this was a piece that Minnesota decided to build around, on the back end from there. As we just talked about too, enlightened centrist, Hamilton, showing no surprise that you get both the J1 and enlightened centrist over here, with 41 points over the last season's total and even better all around defensive game. Seen this season from centrist, the Steelhawks have really found that chemistry and are here to stay in the East. And then lastly, as we know, you know, J J1, 76 point increase from the S85's totals and nearly 50 with 48 additional points coming from the goals column alone. It's insane to think about that. Chaewon is pretty much in every word category this evening. But when you look at the jump over the last season, it's really no surprise to see that they got the nomination for here. So let's see who our winner is. Awesome, Chaewon, Kim Chaewon. Like I said, not surprised to see them in the middle of all of the awards for this season. One heck of a run this season, and well deserved for most improved. Toaster, I'll send it back to you.
Here we've got the second All-Star team. With our forwards, you've got from the Minnesota Monarchs, Normand Mariu. From the Blizzard, Alexa Johansson. And rounding out the forward group here from the Seattle Argonauts, Jefferson Steelflex. Next on for our two defensemen, you've got Dash Jackson and Troy McClure III, fourth. Also from the Blizzard and the New England Wolfpack, respectively. And then a name we've talked about quite a bit this evening with his stellar season, goalie Tyler Bodega from the Monarchs, rounding out the end there for your second All-Star team.
All right, we've chatted a lot about players this evening, but how about the GMs that make them? Here we have the Lance Uppercut Best GM Duo Award. Starting off, we have Alex and Hedda of Hamilton. Alex and Hedda have been slowly building the return of the Steelhawks, and that building effort finally seems to be coming to a head. With a focused core around the S80 draft, Hamilton also built from within and is truthfully just approaching the peak of the roster that this duo has put together. Next up, we've got Uptown Cord and Matt Blue of the Minnesota Monarchs. It has now been 5 seasons since Cord and his relatively new sidekick Matt took over Minnesota. And the upward trajectory of the franchise has just kept climbing. Minnesota's 48 wins and 101 points are both the highest for the franchise in the 66-game FHM era. And last but certainly not least is E. Fisherman and Ote of Seattle. Nominees in seasons 81, 82, 83, and 84. Oates and Eddie are back again, contesting for the uppercut. The duo have done a tremendous job putting together one of the best homegrown rosters in the SHL, doing so with an incredible combination of player development, drafting, and timeline deal making. And just on a personal note, I've had a light interaction, I would say, with just about all 6 of these GMs, and they're all phenomenal people, all deserving of this award. Let's see who will come away with it in the end. And that will be Seattle Argonauts duo of E. Fisherman and Ote. The ability for Seattle to consistently draft well, keep a very strong competitive roster on the ice, and keep within budget restraints is an impressive feat. They've done it quite well and continue to impress their team leadership.
And you can't really talk about GMs without talking about coaches. So, as we move on to the Joe McKeel Award for the best coaches, let's take a look at our nominees. First off, we have Hamilton, right? The great thing about Hamilton is that the GMs and coaches are nothing but consistent, right? Alex and Hedda put together a top flight roster in the East and have coupled that with phenomenal tactics all season that left them, one of the top performing teams in the conference in the regular season, and that's what earned them the McKeel, nomination from there. Next, we have Madison. Valkyries have a relatively new coaching room in SHL, but not one of them with a ton of FHM experience. So, a true brain trust, centered around some of the SHL and Jay's best in tactics. they've been churning out rookie scoring records, and the Snuggle Muffins goal total should be telling you something here. That's a pretty impressive thing that they've put together in Addison from the coaching side. And then last but not least, right, we have Matt and Evil, growing and maturing team, taking third in the SHL's most top heavy conference. They took the reins of a talented but still a bit behind in the pack roster, and turned them into a force in the West. So it really is another well-deserved nomination from there. And our winner, because there can be only one, is it is the Minnesota Monarchs coaching staff. Taking that team with the TPE total and performance level that they had, and taking it to the next level is really kind of a beautiful thing in a master class. And enough said there. So huge congratulations to Minnesota.
That one's really
What is
great to see with their
Yeah.
sort of middle of the road TPE totals, but finishing third overall in the standings for the regular season is impressive, and you can't give anything but props to their coaches there.
Yeah, definitely punching above their weight class, like as the definition.
Well, we've talked about the top GMs, the top coaches, but how about those most dedicated users here for the Damian Littleton? First, we've got another fellow co-host here, in Sharth Cute Story 78, a very devoted member, as shown by his nominations for both the SMJHL User Award, the Commissioner Award, and the Dedicated User, involved in the often underrated PT department as co-head, as well as the WJC with the co-commish, part of the SHL head office, and a JGM. He seems to be everywhere as a rather newer member to the community, really stepping up, making his presence felt, has left a very visible mark, and is the face of the new generation of users. Next up, you got Prey IO7. He's a SMJHL general manager, simmer extraordinaire, doing live commentary on quite a few of his sims. It's great to watch. Host of the SMJHL Tonight, as well as co-head of the broadcasting team, the newest division of the league that is revolutionizing the way content is presented. Patrick is a very dedicated member of the community. His play-by-play is sure to entertain even the strongest of haters of the FHM sim engine. Sometimes it can be a little rough to watch FHM with its antics, but Patrick, with his commentary, makes every sim he does it on just great to see. And last but not least here, we have Shawnee, the events head that has taken the league by storm these past couple seasons, getting it really organized and streamlined. Crazy amount of communication between him and the award heads, getting all this put together, plus all the draft streams he puts together. Pretty much anywhere in the league you look, you'll see Shawnee doing something for the events. He's also in the SHL HO and a JGM. Just an absolute great person to talk to. But you got those three great users. But your winner for the Damian Littleton, most dedicated, is Shawnee. Shawnee has done an amazing job in leading and coordinating the events team, as well as keeping open and active lines of communication with other team heads to keep things on schedule. Add in his pleasant attitude and wealth of league knowledge, and you have yourself a winner. Winner for both the Littleton and the 4-Star Cup.
They say if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So I'll say this. Shawnee has just been an absolute cog in the machine that is the SHL and SMJHL, and on a personal note, is a great friend and colleague among JGMs. Is always there to talk, whether it's sim related or not, and I very much appreciate all of his efforts in and outside of the league.
I'm not sure Shawnee sleeps. You ask him a question, he's right there almost every time.
All right, that brings us to our first All-Star team, and this is all names you've seen or heard here tonight. Just really the cream of the crop that the SHL had to offer in season 86. At forward, we have Gwendolyn Tenlin, Kim Chaewon, and Jeremy Snugglemuffin III. At defense, we've got Rockefort Cotswold and Jennifer Ha. And at goalie, we have Abby Wright Bach. I think all of these people have either won or been nominated for awards, and so it stands to reason that they would be your first All-Star team. Congratulations to these 6 phenomenal players in season 86.
So now that we've talked about some of the best players on the All-Star teams here, want to transition to talk about who's been the best player in the league, right? And who's been our MVP this season. And as we know these names, right, that we've seen here. We have Kim Chae-wong, who finished first in league-wide scoring. We have a new name that we hadn't seen in a while is Norman Marino, who finished second in league-wide scoring to Kim. And then lastly, we had Jeremy Snugglemuffin the third from Madison, who came in third here. All these players had a huge impact on the league for their teams this season. And our most valuable player, the Run Mexico Award winner, is, because there can be only one, Kim Chae-won. Just another fourth season in the league, which is wild. Breaking, scoring records and becoming that elite engine for Hamilton in the East is huge. So congratulations, Kim Chae-won. And now we've talked about the regular season. Let's move on to the playoffs. So Toaster, let's take it away.
Yeah, the regular season's fun, but how about the playoffs? You've got the Anton Razov for playoff MVP here. First up, you've got Alexa Johansson from the Edmonton Blizzard. Had 9 goals, 27 assists, 19 blocks, 28 hits, 26 giveaways, and 17 takeaways. And my portal where I had all my nice stats here pulled up just disappeared. Anyway, putting up those stats in 19 games played. Finished third in playoff scoring to our other 2 nominees. Johansson is back in the Razov conversation after nomination during last season's Cup Finals run for the Blizzard in season 86, where she notched 35 points, making a little jump there this season to 36. Second is Jacob Marsh of the Philadelphia Forge. Had 23 goals, 14 assists, 25 blocks, 35 hits, with 28 giveaways, 22 takeaways in 23 games played. A playoff goal scoring machine, despite succumbing to the Blizzard in the finals. March potted 23 goals for 37 points over 23 contests in Philadelphia's quest for the Cup. It's not often that you see nominations from the team that didn't win the Cup, but with Marsh's performance, it was hard to ignore there. Gwendolyn Tellin is the last one here. Lead the entire playoffs in scoring with a balanced offensive output, was phenomenal in all 3 phases of the game for the Blizzard, and notched 8 points when it mattered most in the 5 games against the Forge. But in their 19 games, they had 19 goals, 19 assists, 17 blocks, 24 hits, 25 giveaways to 15 takeaways. It was consistent all across the board there, putting up a goal and an assist per game, which it is not surprising here for your Anton Razov playoff MVP winner is Gwendolyn Tellin, the points leader in the playoffs and top goal scorer on her team. She put up instead of shut up and led her team to another cup win. her ability to carry the team when it is needed in the X factor they relied on, and she delivered.
All right, we've had team awards, we've had player awards, we've had GM awards, but now it is finally time for the award you've all been waiting for, the Sarmad Khan, the MVP decided by you. And here we have players we've talked about up and down this evening, the top 3 scorers in the SHL in season 86. We have Kim Chae-won from Hamilton, Jeremy Snugglemuffin III from Madison, and Norman Marino from Minnesota. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to all of these nominees. It's an incredible feat to be at the top 3 of scoring in a league that seemed rife with it this past season. And I believe there can be 2, right?
Oh, I haven't heard that one before.
No, unfortunately not. There can
It
only be
feels
1.
wrong. Yeah.
And your winner is Kim Chae-won from the Hamilton Steelhawks. The league has spoken. It's no surprise. You had from most improved to points leader, and this is a player, unlike the previous player I mentioned, whose name I can't remember right off the bat. I'm sorry, who switched from D to forward. Kim Chae-won has stuck it out through Hamilton's rough years and went from a previous high in season 84 of 59 points to a whopping 128 points in season 86. Just an unbelievable explosion, and has deserved to almost sweep all the awards they were nominated for this evening. So just an absolutely ridiculous season from Kim Chae-won, and all the congratulations in the world. And I think that brings us to the end of our show. Yep, that is our season 86 SHL awards. I
Yep.
would like to thank Toaster and Sheriff for joining me this evening, and I would like to congratulate all the nominees. Any parting words from you two, fine gentlemen?
Just a shout out to the Sim for rocking our stream today and being the glue that's bringing this to you live.
Yeah, we were getting a little nervous there towards the end, but Sim stepped up, was our broadcaster on the back end. Wouldn't have been possible without him. But despite what this slide here says, that was the season 86 SHL award show, and it has been a blast.
That's our show, folks. Thank you, Toaster. Thank you, Sheriff, for joining me on this journey. Have a great night, SHL.
No, thank you, Saunders.
Thanks, guys.